Hey guys, Toast here, and today I'm going to be showing you some clips of junglecleave against a few comps and talk through our thought process through the games. Now this first one's going to be against TSG with a Resto Shaman, so we're going to want to go on that DK and pump a lot of damage into him while we throw as much CC as we can onto that Shaman to try and get our early pressure and just blow through their cooldowns before they can get any pressure rolling. Now they decide to go on our Hunter, so I'm going to put Beacon on him and I'm going to start healing him. We get a silence onto the Shaman, into a scatter, and the warrior eats the trap with a reflect, and then we stun the Shaman with the Shale Pet, and then he's actually going to trinket that, and he's going to pop his grounding totem down. My Druid then gets that down, and puts him into a full clone, and the DK is actually forced to use his Lichborn to try and heal himself a bit. He has got healing tied up as well, but I forced myself in there, get a Hodge on the Shaman into a blind, which he has no trinket for. I'm actually just going to get a kill on the DK super early. Now because of how high our damage is in a really short period of time with this comp, and the amount of CC we have, I really need to be pushing in there early, getting in that early Hodge and blind, just because that's an extra 11 seconds of CC that's going to be huge in such early game when they only have one trinket, because they're not a Paladin with a breaker. Now this game is going to be a Warrior Mage Shaman, and this is going to be a much harder game for us, because they're going to put out a lot more damage, and they definitely have a lot more instant crowd control available. Now we're going to choose to go on the Warrior to shut down a lot of his pressure, so we get an early silence onto the Shaman, and I get deeped. Now they do a bit of damage to me, and the warrior actually uses his fear, but I'm going to sprint away, and I'm going to pick myself up before I get put into a shockwave or a warbrow. They quickly swap over to my feral, he's going to pop bark skin, I get blanketed, and then hexed, and he's actually forced to just play incredibly defensive here, and he does, I have to aura mastery just to try and get heals onto him, but I do pick him up quite quickly off that. Now I then get put into a pom half ring while my hunter gets sheep, but it breaks because of Nether Tempest, and I'm going to try and keep my feral up here while they're just pumping damage into him, and we actually forced the warrior's shield wall because we had a lot of pressure there. Now I still have my trinket bubble, but I get deeped here, and I'm going to sit that because they're going back on me. I get put into a blanket, and I'm going to battle masters just to get them to swap off me because my feral's still a bit low. Now here I call that he's in trouble, and as he drops a little bit more because he lined me, he's actually going to just use his bubble here because he was put into a warbringer anyway. Now it's going to be okay because we've actually got the warrior's trinket and his shield wall. We get a full clone on the mage while I hodge the shaman. Now that's going to be great because my hunter can trap off that, and they didn't expect it, so they didn't eat the trap, and I call that I'm going to blind the shaman off of that trap. Now I get the blind, they swap to me, and I actually trinket the deep super early just because I don't want them to get any pressure on me, and I don't want to be forced to bubble because I want to save that. Now we then do get the shaman's trinket off that, and he actually goes down, the warrior actually goes down before the shaman could even get his spirit link off, just because they didn't really expect the amount of damage we can put out again, and that really is one of the greatest strengths of this comp. We have an incredible amount of CC and a huge amount of damage to go with it. Now the next game I'm going over is going to be quite a long game because it's going to be against Warrior Shadow Priest Shaman, and this comp has great defensive capabilities, and it can actually still get a kill on us, so we can't play super offensive. They're going to go on our hunter to start with, and I'm going to turn evil that Scythe as soon as it pops up. Now I get shockwaved here, but they're still not choosing to go on me, even though I've dropped a little bit, and they don't really have too much pressure here, but we did get the priest trinket there. Now I managed to aura mastery the silence there, and I'd get my feral's fear, but I get the VT dispel. So I tell my hunter to take a little bit of care, and then I'm going to pick him back up, but I do get warbringered. Now no CC follows this, so I'm just going to be able to pick him up using my instant casts. I do get put into a full warrior fear, which I do then decide to trinket just to keep the pressure down on my team, because we've now got the warrior's trinket, and the shadow priest takes a trap. My feral's in a huge amount of trouble here because I'm put into a shockwave. He does actually use his Might of Ursoc, and I get put into a half fear. But because he's got that up, I know he's going to be okay, and I'm going to push in to hodge the shaman off of the trap we got on him. Now, because we're on the priest, he can't actually master spell that, and I call that I'm going to blind off, but my feral does overlap a bit, so we don't get the blind off because he cloned, but we do get the shaman's trinket, so it's not going to be too big of a deal because we do have a lot of CC. Now the grounding goes down, and I do kill that just so my feral can clone and my hunter can get traps without worrying about it. And I'm just going to be at the pillar, trying to turret heals into my team, and my hunter does actually get the trap, but the priest uses life swap on him, and it breaks the trap. A hunter then uses silencing shot on the shaman just to stop him healing, but then he does get a healing surge out, and the priest is going to be okay for now. We then get a full clone onto him, and I push out because I know that my team are going to get CC'd, and I want to dispel it, but the priest does silence me when he gets the double fear. Now, with this, I know that my feral is going to be taking a huge amount of damage, and I need to pick him up, preferably without casting, just because I need the instant heals really. My feral could drop quite easily. He then does skin, as he gets a devouring plague put on him in a shockwave, and I get warbringen. Now he does bubble here, but that's okay because I still have my guardian, so I'm going to be able to keep him up, and I have my bubble as well to break a CC on me if it's needed. Now here we got a knockoff on the priest, and the shaman is trapped on the other side of the map, So I'm going to put some damage into the priest while my feral goes for the clone, and I say that I've got the Hodge out of that clone if we need it, and the priest isn't dying, so I'm going to get the Hodge here, and he can't actually get out of that because the priest isn't able to master spell it until at the very end, but he does just manage to get through, and they do get the link off. Now, here's where we're in quite a bit of trouble really, because I actually have to use my Guardian, and they've got quite a lot of pressure right now, even though they've got no defensive cooldowns left, so this is kind of their last chance to really get the kill on us. But my Feral does get a Cyclone on that Warrior, and then follows up with a Cyclone on the Shaman, and the Priest completely tapped on mana here. So we're in a really good position right now, but I'm going to want to keep away from him just to be avoiding those fears, because that Warrior could quite easily solo someone. Now, my Feral's down, and that's great for me, because I can play up and avoid fears a lot better. He does actually get put into a fear, which I thought was going to break, so I didn't dispel it, but I end up dispelling it a bit late. Now, my mana's starting to drop a bit in this game, just because I'm trying to keep my team topped 100% of the time, just so they can play really offensive, and, you know, that's really the best way to do it, because it means they're not going to get any pressure, and I am just trying to keep them both picked up, and really not let them get anything out. My Druid gets put into a 1 second fear, my Hunter gets put into a full fear, which I dispel, but he was disarmed anyway, so it wasn't too big of a deal. Now, I am just keeping my distance from the action because I don't want to be put into full fears for free. And, you know, if they have to push out to get those fears, it's going to mean they take a lot of damage. But I'm going to push in to get the Hodge, which was overlapped with the Scatter Trap, unfortunately. Now, the trap didn't land anyway, so the Hodge isn't too bad. But my mana is really starting to hurt here, and the Warrior actually gets a fear on me. But I know I'm going to need to Trinket, so I just Trinket instantly to pick my team up. Now, they do go for a Siphon Fear on me, but I managed to get the turn evil on it. And I get Hexed, but my Druid gets it off instantly. Now, they've got the Grounding Totem down again, but I'm not really in a position to get it, so I run out and blind the Shaman, knowing that it's going to be full. I get silenced, but I did luckily get a heal off on my Feral Druid first. Now you can see I'm really hurting for mana here, but the Shaman did Trinket my blind, and he's put it into a full trap which can't be master spelled. Off this, we get a Maim on the Priest, which he Trinkets, and I Hodge the Shaman, and that's going to be it for them. That Priest couldn't survive anymore, and neither of them had any defensive cooldowns left. Now, that's one of the great things about this comp. Even if you don't win the short game, you can win the long game just by rotating your CC. And, you know, we do have a lot of it, so we're able to peel that Warrior wherever we want to. And going on that Priest really does stop a lot of those master spells on the CC we have for the Shaman. Now, a lot of our CC is actually undispellable, because that Priest doesn't really have the globals to be getting Cyclone off our Feral quick enough, particularly if it's off a Maim, because he's going to be in a full stun there, and isn't able to dispel that. Anyway, that is going to be it for this video. If you do enjoy this type of video, please let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching.